Shifting gears over to Texas now, as some teams have been jumping around leagues. We'll start with the newest news. Texoma FC of USL1, after just one season, self-relegate down to the amateur league USL2.
Yeah, this is not ideal, right? Now, I'll point this out. I said this in the Discord when this came up, when we got this news, that when we did our big questions facing USL for Division 1 and Pro Rel that you can watch on the channel, in that video, we talked about the 7 teams coming into USL League One in 2026. And with 14 teams, you add 7. What is 14 plus 7, Rob? Math is hard.
21.
21.
You're not a blackjack player, are you?
I was joking. You don't do live math on broadcast. It's always a bad idea. Your brain will never not let you down. What I was going to say is that when we did that video, I didn't say 14 teams now, add 7, that's 21. There will be 21 teams in 2026, 27, 28, whenever they launch these things. Because we knew, because American soccer knows that stuff like this happens all the time. That teams either disappear, drop off the map, or self-relegate in the case of Texoma. I guess you could say it's at least good that the name of the team, that the identity of the team is not going away. They are going to play a short season. They're going to play amateur soccer, but they're not going away. There's something to that. It says in the statement that they're committed to their youth programs and their academy, ensuring local players have a clear pathway to higher levels of soccer. They mentioned Vermont Green because that's obviously the story of American soccer over the last couple months. They play in League Two. This is where Texoma is going. And they're saying we can be important to our community as a League Two team. Just look at Vermont Green. But it's the last sentence of this, Rob, that is interesting. We are grateful for the incredible support from our fans and community and look forward to sharing more details soon, including exciting news from the club's ownership about long-term investment in infrastructure in the future of League One in North Texas. So even though this team based in Sherman, Texas is going away, they're saying we're going to be investing in League One in North Texas somewhere else. Now, put together this map, very rough map. It's tough because, getting it in the right framing is a difficult thing. But you can see at the top of the map in Sherman, Texas, that's where Texoma is based. Now no longer playing professional soccer. You can see the McKinney Chupacabras there right in the middle. That's McKinney, Texas. That's a team that is moving from NPSL. To League Two. They've announced that.
Yep.
They decided to switch the leagues. That mark right next to Chupacabras in Princeton, that's basically Collins County. So very close to McKinney is Collins County, where we have had rumors and did a story and reported a story that there's some sense something's happening there. That would be my guess, that with the Texoma ownership, that's probably where they're going, right? I mean, we don't have anything else to go on. That's just speculation right now, but that would make sense.
It almost seems like Texoma is, and I mean, who knows what the details are yet of the business arrangements, but it almost sounds like calling dibs on 2 different places here. Like, we don't want to evacuate this place. I know Texoma FC have a pretty robust youth system, and they're doing their thing there. They've sent assurances to those families, but also then like calling dibs on maybe another place is an interesting move.
Yeah. By the way, sorry, my wires got crossed. Chris is right. We're talking about Lubbock that's switching to USL2, not McKinney. McKinney was in USL2 last year. So it's the Lubbock Matadors, I believe, are switching. My apologies. I believe that's another Hitch team, and that's probably where my wires got crossed, but that's a mistake. My apologies. So McKinney, USL, doesn't matter. McKinney's a USL League Two team. Right now, Texoma is going to be a USL League Two team, so you'll have some local rivalry potential there. I also put Atletico Dallas on this map just so you get a sense of where they're going to be in Dallas playing at the Cotton Bowl. And originally they were set for Garland, which you can see there as a suburb of Dallas. I did not put the logo, but you can see Frisco there. That's where FC Dallas is based, just to the west of McKinney. So you've got a lot of stuff happening in North Texas is all I'm going to say without making any judgments about it. And then you can't really see Fort Worth, but we know there's also an effort to put a team in Fort Worth, just to the west of Dallas in the Metroplex. So lots going on.
I know you said it's dangerous to do math live during a show, but how many teams is this now in this like maybe our sort of area. So we got Texoma, McKinney, Dallas, FC Dallas. So we got 4 or 5 high-level teams all within an hour of each other. That seems like an impressive kind of landscape for people. Like that's definitely going to be a battle for eyeballs and butts in seats in that
Well,
area.
so is that how we should look at it, Rob? Like, is it so? There have been times in the history of soccer in America where you would say this might not be great. That this might be now. Look, you only have only a handful of these, or only a couple of these are professional outfits, and we don't have that orange mark is not a team yet. That's just speculation about Collins County. But you have Texoma is going to be amateur now. McKinney is amateur. Atletico Dallas is going into the USL Championship. That's a professional outfit. Obviously, FC Dallas and Frisco, an MLS team. And then Fort Worth, whatever happens there. Is this really now, the romantic soccer fans in us, we want to say, well, of course, this is what we should be doing. Again, this is what Dot the Map is all about. Like we get an opportunity here to really talk about the potential of these places. Like we get to say, why shouldn't a city like Dallas, a big city, not just in terms of the number of people in the region, but geographically, why shouldn't they have this many pro teams? Shouldn't this be the goal? And if these people can't do it, well, then somebody else should step in and try. In other words, don't not try because it might collapse. Somebody is going to grab soccer fans. Somebody is going to have some success, and if that doesn't work, somebody else might step in eventually to challenge them again. And that's the way it should go.
Let's not lose sight of what might be the bigger story here is this puts USL League One's table at 20 teams for 2026, provided no other teams self-relegate, go out of business, or otherwise. USL League One 2026's table will be 20 teams. And hopefully, fingers crossed, all those new expansion teams, or 6 or 7 new ones coming into USL League One. Hopefully, none of them are in the situation that Texoma FC finds himself in, where they feel the need to relegate. They had an up and down season on the field. I know the attendance wasn't doing all that well there, and hopefully that is the end of a chain of teams having to do this to themselves. And
so,
that would be a huge step. I think that if we get to 2026 and there's or any season where there's no teams shuttering their doors or relegating themselves because of performance,
I mean, look, again,
I think that we should champion that when that happens.
We can't let the perfect be the enemy of the good, right? We have to be willing to fail on some level. But again, I've also covered soccer long enough that I've seen so many clubs die, and that feels like a tragedy every time it happens. And it also feels on some level like you're salting the earth every time it happens. That a club pops up and has some success and grabs some fans, and people get excited, and it gets local news coverage. And then 2 years later, it collapses under the financial weight of running professional soccer. And then the fans go, well, soccer doesn't work here. I guess we'll not care about soccer anymore. And I don't know that that's always the case, right? Like, obviously, it's possible that you could have something fail and then with the right plan, with the right people, with the right approach, restart the engines and it work. And maybe this is a different era of American soccer where that is possible, as opposed to previous eras where if a team came and went, you went, well, I guess that market's dead. That may not be the case anymore. And I don't want to be defeatist in that regard, right? I don't think it's good when clubs die. I don't like adding to that list. It's a big graveyard of dead American soccer clubs. It runs deep, the number of dead American soccer clubs, and I don't want to add to that list. I want every club to succeed, but you can't guarantee success. So why don't you just say, well, we're going to take a shot at this? And in this case, and look at, say, the Richmond Kickers, right? A team that goes back to the 90s, one of the older professional American soccer clubs, because that's as deep as we go with continuing with clubs that have operated continually. The Richmond Kickers realized we can't do it in the USL Championship. This is too much for us. Financially, we can't carry this weight. Let's go down to League One, where the salaries are lower and the costs are lower. And I don't know that they're thriving, but we don't have a sense that the Richmond Kickers are disappearing. They're not going anywhere. The Ukrop family is still invested in soccer in Richmond, and this is their professional outlet. And if there is a place for them to go that is isn't dissolution, we should be glad about that. Right? Again, better to have a system that is promotion and relegation where clubs are going up and down because of their on-field merit. But if we do have an environment where the financials are difficult, where the economics are difficult, if a club can't cut it in one division, we don't want them to pull the plug completely. We want them to say, well, let's self-relegate. Let's do what Texoma is doing. That would have been, I would have preferred that for San Diego Loyal. I would have preferred that I would have preferred that for the team I'm wearing right now. St. Louis Football Club. Like you can't
they just
operate on the same like you can't be at the same level you want to be when the MLS team comes into town. I know there's some crossover in ownership between this team and the MLS team, which is probably what really killed them. But I would prefer an environment where a team like St. Louis Football Club can say, you know what, we're going to continue to exist. Our badge will still be on stuff. We'll have players out there running around in our uniforms. We just won't be playing in the same division because it doesn't make sense for us anymore.
It's hard to say because we want to see results now, but it's almost like we pick our head up in 10 years and they've added 5, lost 2, added 5, lost 2 or something like that. And we'll see where we are in 10 years and see how dotted the map is.